You're hated by someone. Okay, I'm going to find the debates. Live streaming debates. Search. Presidential debate 2020. Only eight. ABC. Washington Post. Looking for PBS. Main event. ABC apparently won the rights to it. PBS NewsHour. Special coverage and analysis. Fuck it, I'll go live. Whoever's hosting it.
20 special.
This is the most important election we've ever had.
We need to rise to this moment.
In this,
Let me rise up into you.
Season,
I'm gonna rise up.
Debate that could change everything. With voting already underway, who will sway the undecided?
Well, I mean, that's the only reason Biden exists. I'm going to make racism sexy. I'm going to rise up. There's going to be a rising up. And they're going to be swinging. People are going to be swinging. That's Joe Biden. You're not understanding why people get angry. Okay, I'm going back to the speakers.
The main event. The first Case Western Reserve University and Cleveland Clinic in Ohio and New York City. Now reporting.
The debate is starting.
George Stephanopoulos.
Good evening and welcome to our special coverage of the 2020 presidential debates. That is the scene in Cleveland, Ohio, where just 1 hour from now, Donald Trump and Joe Biden will take the stage for the first of three 90-minute debates just 35 days before the final votes. Most presidential election years are
Be quiet. The debate has started. I'll give you my keys. You can go to Publix. It's 3 blocks away. Here's my keys. 3 blocks away. You can drive that far. Listen, I've got oil.
Through it all, this presidential race has been remarkably
There's
stable.
oil here.
Go back to the polls in January. You'll see that Joe Biden, still fighting for the Democratic nomination, had
Don't go
about
outside and kill
7-point
yourself.
lead over President Trump. Take a look today, and the polling averages are basically in the same place. Our chief White House correspondent, John Carl, is in Cleveland. And John, with exactly 5 weeks to go, the president has to do something tonight to shake up this race.
If he doesn't shake up the race, George, the bottom line is he is likely to lose this race. As you mentioned, the polls have been steady nationally. They've also been steady in virtually every single battleground state. The top 12 states, he has failed to have a sustainable lead in any of them over the last several days. And he also knows, off the several months, he also knows, George, that if he doesn't change the dynamic, and if he doesn't change the dynamic and the trajectory of the race, he will lose. And he knows that this is his single best chance to do so. This debate, an audience of potentially 100 million people, head-to-head with Joe Biden. We still have 2 debates after this, but people are already voting. If he's going to change the dynamic of the race, he has to start to do it now. He's been here before. You remember 4 years ago, his campaign was written off as dead after the Access Hollywood debate. He came in after the tape was leaked. He came into the debate, co-moderated by Martha Raddatz, and he went on the attack, ruthlessly and relentlessly on the attack. He turned around his campaign. I suspect he's going to try to do something very much like that tonight.
We will be watching that tonight. A lot of pressure on Joe Biden, obviously, as well. Mary Bruce also in Cleveland tonight. I guess, Mary, the watchwords for the Biden strategy tonight: don't sit on your lead, but don't take Trump's bait.
Exactly, George. The Biden campaign just told us he is ready for anything here tonight, and he may very well have to be. He knows that the president is going to try to make this personal, but he says he's not going to be baited into some kind of brawl. The challenge for Biden here tonight is going to be trying to rise above all of the attacks and the gunner politics to focus on the issues. We know he is eager to talk about the president's taxes and his business record, and in the midst of this pandemic, he's also likely to hammer the issue of health care. And even though Biden has flatly labeled the president a liar, don't expect him here tonight to spend a lot of time fact-checking the president. Instead, we're told he wants to spend all of his time here speaking directly to the American people. Biden, of course, is very familiar with this venue. This will be his 27th debate for the White House, but he has also shown that he at times can be an uneven debater, and we know that the vice president has to perform tonight. He has never been up against an opponent like Donald Trump. He has to prove the president wrong when he attacks him on his mental fitness. Joe Biden has to bring it tonight.
And we will be watching to see if he does. Wild card turn in this debate in the final hours. That Sunday explosive report in the New York Times about the president's taxes got access to the president's tax returns, something he has not released for the last several years. Cecilia Vega has the latest on that.
Yeah, George, the Trump team said today they expect this to be the very first question tonight, and they are ready for it. But you just said it. He has fought this every step of the way. He's not faced questions extensively since this story broke on Sunday. He's expected to get questions on this tonight. He has not released his tax returns, the first president in modern history to do so. So now he will face these big questions. And heading into tonight, this has given the Biden team fresh ammunition. They are going to argue that the president, in that $750 that he paid in income taxes the year he won the White House in his first year in office, was less than teachers and firefighters and nurses in this country have paid. The Trump team, they're expected to say that this is smart business, that in fact, Joe Biden is the one who helped create the tax code in this country. George, the big question heading in tonight on this issue of taxes is, will voters care about this? The Trump team is hoping that this was litigated already back in 2016.
World News Tonight anchor David Muir is here. One thing we know the voters care about, COVID-19, the pandemic, going to be a whole topic tonight in the debate.
No question about that, George. And we have to remember that this country is exhausted by the polarization, the politics, and most certainly, as you point out, by the pandemic. More than 200,000 American lives lost, millions without work. And you know, it was months ago, that first interview with the president in the pandemic. And I asked him, are you comfortable with this election becoming a referendum on your handling of the pandemic? And you could see the pain in his face. He said, you know, I am and I'm not. But he went on to tell me that I deserve credit for my handling of the pandemic. We know that in recent weeks he has said I deserve an A+. But then came the audio tapes, the Bob Woodward audio tapes, when you could hear him saying, I'm downplaying the virus to avoid panic in this country. And Joe Biden responded to that saying it is close to criminal. And I think the big question tonight is whether or not Joe Biden takes it that far on the stage and what President Trump will say to defend not only his handling, but where do we go from here? What's his vision for the next 4 years and the next 4 months, quite frankly? How and when does he see this country pulling itself out of a pandemic that's taken more than 200,000 lives?
What will he say about the vaccine? Lindsay Davis also here tonight. We know the president has tried to hit the theme of law and order in recent weeks, playing off the racial protests we've seen across the country this summer.
Sure, and certainly many people still feeling raw in the wake of the lack of charges in Breonna Taylor. I'm going to add to David's word, Americans feeling exhausted. I think that they're also angry and frustrated. I'm mindful of a little boy in a picture who was protesting in Columbia, South Carolina, that was holding a sign, a black boy who said, we didn't come this far to only come this far. And I think that that's a question that's going to loom large on the stage tonight as far as which one of these candidates is going to actually help propel black and brown communities forward. I think that it's plausible that we could see President Trump pull the 1994 crime bill out of his back pocket. I mean, this is
Joe
legislation. Yes, Joe Biden wrote the legislation, and many argue that this was really detrimental to the black community for decades, even now today. However, on the flip side, the Trump administration is not willing to acknowledge that systemic racism still exists in this country. It's harder in this country to be black than white. Compare that to 74% of those who support Biden. I think that we do have to be mindful. Only 1/3, or actually 1/3, which is the largest amount that we've had in history, non-white voters.
You're not really understanding why someone starts crying again.
Lindsay Davis, thanks. We are lucky to have part of our team, the only journalist in the country who's moderated general election debates with both President Trump and Joe Biden. Our chief global affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz. You had Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton back in 2016, Joe Biden and Paul Ryan back in 2012. What did you learn about their debate styles?
Well, I think John said it right off the bat, and we've all seen it. Donald Trump is combative. He will come out swinging. He lurked on the stage in 2016. Dealing with Donald Trump is more like being a lion tamer than a debate moderator. You really had to keep him on time. He'll go after the moderator.
That's just fucking annoying.
I had to stop him several times, and then he would accuse me of letting Hillary Clinton have more time. So I expect he'll go after the moderator, and he will hard charge against Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden in 2012 was very feisty in that debate and very, very wonky, very policy driven.
And wonky.
But Joe Biden also had a real sense of humor then, and I don't think you see that with Donald Trump in any of these debates, in anything with Donald Trump. Whenever he's talking to people, you don't really see that sense of humor. I think you'll see Joe Biden do that tonight. You have no idea what although he's far more uneven than he was in 2012, George.
You know the kind of pressure the moderator, Chris Wallace, is going to be under tonight. You know, the moderator has to ask revealing questions, figure out how and when to follow up, and get answers, but not become the story.
Exactly. I'm so relaxed tonight, George. It feels so much better than looking at that stage tonight and remembering what that's like. But Chris is an excellent moderator. He did a great job in 2016. But I know just the same way I wanted to stay out of it and not become the story, Chris wants to do that as well. But you also have to do fact-based questions. You have to give the candidates questions that will challenge them, but you're not really the person who's saying, you're wrong, you're right, you're wrong, you're right. That's up to them.
Yeah, he said he's not going to fact check, but we should probably expect him to follow up.
I think he will follow up, and we certainly followed up in 2012 and in 2016. It's very much like you did, George, the other day in the town hall. You follow up when you can, when you have the information there, and you can pass it off to the other candidate. So if Donald Trump says something that the moderator doesn't feel is correct, he may follow up with that, but then toss it to Joe Biden.
Martha Raddatz, thanks very much. When we come back, Nate Silver's election forecast, Tom Yamas on the 6 big battlegrounds, and our Powerhouse Roundtable.
You're not really understanding.
The most important issue of the debate for me would be
the Department of Justice.
Welcome to Disney Plus.
You make someone happy though. Turn my inner.
Drop in and explore the action, the adventure, and the originals. There's no limit to what you'll find. These are your worlds. So come on, dive deeper into the universes you love. Wherever and whenever you want them, you'll find them all here on Disney Plus.
Yes, mornings may look different these days, but where you start your day,
Where you spend your mornings, where you get connected to everything that's happening.
And face it, there's a whole lot happening in our world these days.
where you get all the breaking new information of the day to help you navigate through these times.
What is this?
good morning, sunshine.
One
Making
moment,
sure you
I'm
start your
busy.
day off with a smile and some sunshine.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Oh, how I love saying that.
Wake me up. I'm very thankful that these men are
Just, I'm
Tuesday,
busy.
October 13th. We respect your wishes. The Bachelorette is back.
Anyway,
This is the perfect place to fall in love.
But respect the rumors.
I've got more cars than a
Ever
bank.
talk to me like that.
It's true.
What?
This is the most shocking season ever.
He's sick.
We
That's crazy.
do
Yeah.
declare.
There's your bank card.
Just blown up the Bachelorette.
The Bachelorette season premiere Tuesday, October 13th on ABC. It's being called the most consequential election.
Are you going to get that oil? I've got the walnut oil here.
So
It's
much on the line. It demands the most straightforward newsmaking
me.
real answers, the most informed voices from all sides. The countdown is on to
Me
the
too.
vote. What will our future look like?
You shouldn't do that
This
joke
week
ever.
with George. It all plays
Me
out
too.
right here every Sunday.
The most consequential week yet of this hyper-political year.
Right as you get closer to casting your vote every Sunday on ABC. The waters of the Outer Banks are unforgiving and full of riches for the fishermen who dare. The
I'm
best
going
of the
to
north
explain
and
to
the
you.
south. The locals know where the giants lie. And if you thought the waters were unforgiving, wait until the battle begins. Wicked Tuna Outer Banks. New episodes Sundays at 9 on National Geographic. What's the most...
Is it price or prizes? Come on.